Hello, friends. Have you ever thought why we have come to this world? What is our real purpose? We are running day and night after success, after relationships, after wealth, but still amnesiac somewhere. Is there any higher purpose of our life, or is it just an endless cycle of happiness, sorrow, hard work, and then emptiness in the end? Perhaps you too must have asked yourself this question sometimes when we are in some big problem, when our mind is disturbed, when someone close to us leaves us, when we are on the verge of giving up. Then only one thought comes to mind. Now is Bhagavad Gita such a book that it would be wrong to call it just a religious text. It is not a myth, it is a life manual, a book which is for every person, irrespective of his religion, caste, or background. This book contains that timeless wisdom which has been changing the lives of people for centuries. From Steve Jobs to Albert Einstein, so many great people have taken inspiration from Gita, but the real question is whether Gita is still relevant for us. Does it contain those answers which we need in our daily life? Can help solve problems? In today's world, we are connected to technology, but disconnected from ourselves. We have knowledge but no inner peace. We are smart but not happy. We look strong, but so many people are broken from inside, and this is where Bhagavad Gita helps us. It is not just a spiritual book, but a key to mindset shift. Today, we will talk about the first 5 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, from where this whole journey begins. Imagine a battlefield, all around only the sound of war, the shine of swords, the roar of soldiers, and a warrior standing in the middle who is one of the greatest heroes. But today he cannot fight Arjuna, who had won thousands of wars, till now is today immersed in confusion and fear. His condition is exactly like ours. When life brings us to such a turn where we do not understand what to do next. Have you ever felt that there are 2 paths in front of you, but you are confused as to which one is right? Have you ever felt that all the hard work of your life, all the dreams, suddenly seem meaningless? Arjuna too, he was in this confusion, and the things that Lord Sri Krishna said here were not just for Arjuna, they were for us too. So are you ready for this amazing journey? In this video, we will go deep into these first 5 chapters of the Gita. We will see how the solution to every problem of modern life is hidden in these words, and the most important thing is that this is not just a story, it is your own story. Chapter 1. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Have you ever felt that life has brought you to such a point from where you do not have the courage to move forward, where everything seems blurred, where it has become difficult to differentiate between right and wrong? Has it ever happened that whatever you thought for years, whatever dreams you saw, whatever things you worked hard for, all of them suddenly seem meaningless? This is the same situation in which Arjuna finds himself, immersed in confusion, fear, and deep emotional terminology. And if we look at our life, then this situation of Arjuna is not just his, but of all of us. When we grow up from childhood, we are taught to be strong, be fair, take decisions, do not accept defeat. But sometimes such a time comes when we are not able to move forward. It comes when our strength becomes our biggest weakness. We have taken so many decisions, have shouldered so many responsibilities, have attached so many hopes that suddenly when life gives us a tough choice, we freeze. We do not understand what to do, and then we ask ourselves the same question that Arjuna had asked Krishna: what should I do now? Arjuna, who was a great warrior who had never turned away from war, was today losing to his own thoughts. He knew what he should do, but his mind was stopping him. Have you ever felt that your heart says something else, but your mind says something else? You know that you have to move forward, but a voice from within says, "Is this right?" There come such moments in our life too, when we have to take a big decision, in career, in relationships, in family. Sometimes we get stuck between 2 such paths, where one path is of duty and the other is of emotions, and when emotions start overpowering, then the confusion increases. For Arjuna, it was not just a war, it was his values, his beliefs, and it was the ultimate test of his emotions. And the same test happens in our life too, when we have to face a tough decision, when we have to sacrifice something, when we have to go away from someone close to us, when we have to do something that we do not want to do. then the same conflict goes on inside us too, which was going on inside. Arjun, is this right? Is this wrong? What will happen if I take this decision, if I choose that path? Will I be happy? Are my decisions right? Am I losing? These were the questions of Arjun, and these are the questions of us too. But there is another deep thing hidden here. Arjun did not lose only because he was scared, but because he saw his situation as a limitation and not as an opportunity. He thought that if he fought the war, then he would go against his own people, and if he did not fight the war, then he would go against his religion. In both the situations, he was seeing defeat. But was it really a defeat in our life too? When we are in a tough situation, then we are just two. We see options. Either we are losing or winning, but in reality, life is never black and white. There is always a third option of wisdom, clarity, and correct understanding. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gita teaches us that whatever confusion comes in our life is actually a very big signal that we are ready for a big change. Whenever we have to take a big decision, whenever our thinking starts stopping us, whenever we get entangled in our own thoughts, then we should understand that we just need the right guidance. Arjun had Krishna who showed him the right path, but we all also have a Krishna. Sometimes it is our parents, sometimes our teachers, sometimes a friend, and many times that guidance is within us, but we do not listen to it because our mind is filled with fear, guilt, and emotions. So today, whenever such a moment comes in your life, when you feel that you are stuck, when you feel that you cannot move forward, when you feel that you are not getting clarity, then remember that this is not just confusion, it is a truth. This is about finding a new path, adopting a new way of thinking, and coming out of the fear within us. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is not just Arjun's story, it is our story. Every person who is stuck in a decision, every person who is swinging between emotions and duty, every person who is unable to understand what is right and what is wrong, this chapter is a mirror for him. Now the question is, will we remain entangled in our questions like Arjun, or will we accept Krishna's guidance and find our own answers? The choice is ours. Chapter 2. Sankhya Yoga. Have you ever felt that no matter how much we try in life, everything is not in our control? Have you ever thought that we take decisions and work hard, but still the fear of insecurity and failure remains inside us? Why is it that a small rejection shakes us up inside? We live in the fear of losing someone, we live in anxiety about the future, we regret the mistakes of the past. We remain entangled in so many emotions that we forget that the real, what did we have to do? Arjun was also in the same situation. Arjun always knew that he was a warrior. 9:22. He had learnt from childhood that it was his religion to fight a war, that it was his duty to protect his people. But when the time came when he had to really stand up, he was shaken. His mind was trapping him in a web of questions. What is right? What is wrong? Should he do this or not? But the real question was why his mind had become so weak. Why did he, who was once invincible, become so broken today? The same thing happens in our life as well. As long as we are in our comfort zone, we feel that we are strong. But when a big challenge comes, when we have to take a decision that can change our entire life, then we see our real reality. We think that we are prepared, but as soon as difficult decisions come in front of us, our confidence is shaken. Krishna told Arjun that whatever is born, its end is also certain, and whatever will end will also be born. It sounds simple to hear, but if it is understood, then all our problems can end. We can work day and night on our career. We remain stressed about relationships, health, success, and failure, but have you ever thought that all this is temporary? What is there today will not be there tomorrow, and what is not there today can come tomorrow. But still, we remain worried about the same thing, which is always going to change. We are sad because we want to hold on to things. We want to have control so that our life runs exactly according to our expectations. But when the reality is different, then we feel pain. Arjun was also in the same situation. He wanted that the situation standing in front of him should happen according to him, but life never runs according to anyone. Krishna told him that whatever happened is good, whatever is happening is good, and whatever will happen will also be good. This may sound like a simple line, but have we ever truly accepted it? Have we ever thought that the challenges that are in front of us today are making us stronger? Have we ever felt that the most painful situations of life give us the biggest lesson? Many times in our life, we behave like Arjun when, as long as things go according to us, we are happy, but as soon as any difficulty comes, we panic, start getting scared of taking decisions, start doubting ourselves. We forget who we are, what is our real purpose. But Krishna reminds us that you are not a body but a soul. Think what will happen if we understand this one thought deeply. If we come to know that we are not just this body, but an energy which can never be, then will we be afraid of anything? Will we make failure so big? Will we not be afraid of rejection? Because then we will understand that all this is temporary. This world which seems so real to us, these problems which seem so big to us, all this is an illusion. Arjun's biggest fear was what will happen to his loved ones. If he fights the war, then he will go against his family. If he does not fight the war, then he will go against his duty. But Krishna explains to him that duty is the biggest. Doing work is your religion, but worrying about the result is not your right. The same thing happens in our life too. We do not do any work just because we feel that maybe we will not get the result that we want from it, but if we take every decision with the thought that I just have to do my work and do not worry about the result, then all our problems will end. Have you ever noticed that when we enjoy any work, we do not worry about the result? When an artist is painting, he gets lost in colors. When a musician is singing, he flows in the tunes. When a writer is writing, he gets immersed in the words because he is doing work, but is not worrying about the result. But as soon as we sleep about the result, our creativity, our energy, everything stops. This is the biggest secret of life. Work with full dedication, but do not get attached to the result. So now the question is, will we remain trapped in our emotions like Arjun, or will we understand Krishna's words and move forward, leaving behind our fears and doubts? Will we accept this realization that we have come to this world only to perform our duty and everything else is an illusion? Sankhya Yoga teaches us that life is not just about taking decisions, but also about taking decisions with the right mindset. It teaches us that we should act, considering everything as temporary, and that we should focus on our actions and not on its results. And most importantly, we should bring that clarity within us, which can end our fears and doubts. So now think whether you are also entangled in your life like Arjun, or can you rise above every fear, every insecurity, and every doubt by understanding Krishna's words, because the choice is yours to live in fear or move forward with clarity. Chapter 3, Karma Yoga. Have you ever felt that you are putting in all your hard work, working day and night, trying every possible way, but still you are not getting the result you were expecting? Have you ever felt that you are running after your goals, but happiness has been left behind somewhere? Or has it happened that you have put your heart and soul into some work, but when the result came, it was not yours? It was not as per our expectations, and then we felt a void. We all have gone through this situation. Whenever we do any work, our full focus is on the outcome of that work. If the result is good, we become happy. And if the result is not as per our expectations, we get devastated. This is our biggest problem. We are more worried about the result of our work than doing it. And Arjun also had the same confusion. Arjun's question was absolutely logical. If everything is already decided, if what has to happen will happen, then what is the use of working hard? If the result of our actions is not in our hands, then why should we work hard? If this world is an illusion, then why do we need to worry about this world? To remove this confusion of Arjun, Krishna gave the knowledge of Karma Yoga. Krishna said, "You only have the right to do your work, but you have no right over the result of your work." It sounds simple, but it can change our entire mindset. Imagine, if we do something wholeheartedly without fearing what its result will be, then how stress-free will we be? The big problem is that we hold on to the result. When we apply for a job, we are most tensed about the result. When we participate in a competition, we trouble ourselves by thinking about the result. When we start a business, we are always afraid of failure. But what will happen if we leave the worry of the result and focus only on action? Whenever we do something with expectations, we get stuck in two things. Either we work with fear or with ego. If we are afraid of the result, we will never be able to give our best. And if we are overconfident about the result, we can still make mistakes. But Karma Yoga shows us the way out of both of these. Have you ever seen a child playing? He gets so lost in his game that he does not care whether he is winning or losing. He just likes to play, and in this process, he gives his best. This is the biggest teaching of Karma Yoga. Do your work in this way, so that it itself becomes a reward for you. But does it mean that we should not care about the result? Does it mean that we should do any work without thinking? No. It only means that we should do our work with complete sincerity and dedication, but should not be attached to its outcome. If you have ever seen an artist making a painting, then you will understand that real art comes out when the artist does not think about the result. When a musician sings a song, his best performance is when he just immerses himself in music and not in the worry whether people will appreciate him or not. When a writer writes, his best writing comes when he gets lost in words, and not in the fear of how many people will read his book. This is the essence of Karma Yoga. To live your work completely, without any fear and without any greed. This philosophy is also useful in our modern life. When we are in a relationship, if we always think about what we will get in return, then that relationship will never be successful. But when we do it without any fear, then that relationship will never be successful. We feel real happiness when we love without any expectations. When we help a friend and if we expect something in return, then it becomes a deal and not a help. But when we simply help someone from the heart, then we get real satisfaction. This is the power of Karma Yoga, action with detachment. Krishna tells Arjuna that if you work without any expectation, then every work of yours will become worship. Imagine, if we apply this thought in our daily life, then our whole life can change. Imagine that you become so evolved in your work that you just get the joy of working and do not worry about the result. Imagine that you chase any goal only because you enjoy achieving it, and not just because you want praise from others. When we reach this level, then a different sense of peace and fulfillment comes in our life, but it is not easy to apply it in practical life. We have been taught since childhood that the result is the most important. We have always been taught that if we have to do any work, then there must be some benefit from it, but Karma Yoga teaches us that real success is achieved only when we consider work as our reward. So now the question is, can we apply this philosophy in our life? Can we do work just because we like to do it without worrying about its result? Can we stop running after our goals and do our actions? If yes, then understand that we have really understood Karma Yoga. Now it is up to you. Can you also focus on your work by leaving the worry of the result in your life? Can you do your work with complete sincerity without fear and ego? Can you reach that level where your every action, every decision becomes a worship? Krishna gave this knowledge to Arjuna, but in reality it was for every human being. It was not just about a war, it was the philosophy of the whole life, and if we understand it, then our whole life can change. Now the choice is yours to get worried thinking about the result or not. Then consider your work as your religion and move forward. Chapter 4, Gyan Karma Sannyas, Yoga. Have you ever thought about what is the most confusing thing in this world? It is not money, relationships, or success. The most confusion is about our own life. Who are we? What should we do, and what is our real purpose? We take decisions, but there is a fear behind every decision. Are we going on the wrong path? Are what we are doing in vain? We are also confused about our actions. Should we work or take sannyas? Should we chase success or find inner peace? If everything is temporary, then why make efforts? Arjuna was also in this confusion. He had to fight a war, but there were thousands of questions in his mind. Is this right? Can violence be a religion? Is renouncing work the only true knowledge? The answer Krishna gave him is the essence of Gyan Karma Sannyas Yoga. In this world, work cannot be avoided, but how to do work is the biggest knowledge. This dilemma keeps going on in our lives too. We work hard and struggle, but still sometimes we wonder whether all this is true. It is worth it. Why not get away from this hustle and bustle and look for peace? But here comes a paradox. Peace is not in sacrifice, but in right deeds. Many of us think that real happiness means to escape from responsibility, to be cut off from the world, and to live a peaceful life alone. But is this really peace? If it were so, then the happiest would be hermits, and the most unhappy would be those who are doing big things. But it is not so. Some people transform the whole world and yet are completely peaceful from within, and some people feel rested even after running away from the world. Krishna says that real sacrifice is not to leave work, but to do work with knowledge. That is, the work will remain the same, but our thinking will change. Like a player is playing in the field, but if he has full knowledge of the game, then he will take every step with confidence. But if he doubts himself, then he will become weak. Life is also like this. If we do not have the right knowledge, then we will remain trapped in our deeds. But if we have clarity, then the same deeds will set us free. Now think, have you ever done such a thing? Have you felt that when you do any work with complete awareness, then that work does not seem like a burden? When you know the true purpose of your work, then hard work also seems easy. But when you do any work just out of compulsion, without any understanding, then that work starts feeling heavy. This is the importance of knowledge. Many of us think that if we want peace in life, then we should not be ambitious. But Krishna says that the problem is not in ambition, but in attachment. If we can do our work without any ego and without any greed, then that work can free us from bondage. Like a tree gives fruits, but does not eat those fruits itself. The sun gives light, but does not ask for anything in return. Similarly, when we do our actions selflessly, then we get real freedom. Imagine if you come to know that every work that you are doing is only for your growth and there is no ultimate result of it, then will you not take decisions more confidently? When we play a game, our entire focus is on the game and not on winning. This is the reason why we give our best performance, but as soon as we start focusing only on winning, the fun in the game goes away and the stress increases. The same principle applies in life as well. Gyan Karma Sannyas Yoga teaches us that it is necessary to do work, but when we understand with the right knowledge that this world is a continuous flow and we are just a medium, then a different energy comes in our actions. Then we do not do any work just for reward, but because doing that is our religion. Often people think that sacrifice means leaving the world, stopping work, and going into solitude. But Krishna tells that real renunciation is not in sacrifice, but in right thinking. Sacrifice should be from within and not from outside. If there is a desire in the mind, then even if you go to the forest, you will not get peace. But if there is clarity in the mind, then you can remain calm even while standing in the battlefield. The same principle works in our modern life as well. Have you ever noticed that some people remain stressed by doing the same kind of work, and some people enjoy the same work? The difference is of knowledge. For those who connect their actions with a higher purpose, every action becomes meaningful for them, but for those who focus only on short-term goals, every failure becomes a sad story. This is what Krishna explains to us. If we want real freedom, then we have to understand the higher knowledge hidden behind our actions. We have to see karma as an opportunity and not a problem. When we do this, then we can remain calm in every situation because we know that our job is just to take action and the result will come automatically. Now think, can you also apply this knowledge in your life? Can you do every work with clarity, without attachment? Can you take your decisions fearlessly, knowing that you are just an instrument and the real power lies somewhere else? If yes, then understand that you have understood the real knowledge of karma, sannyas yoga. Here the question is not only of Arjuna, it is the question of all of us. Can we do our actions with knowledge? Can we make every action a meditation? Can we reach this understanding? We can understand that nothing is permanent in life, and therefore we should live every moment with full awareness. Krishna gave this knowledge to Arjuna on the battlefield, but in reality, it was for every human being. If we understand this, our whole life can change. Now the choice is yours. to run away from the world, or to do karma with the right knowledge. Chapter Pa Sannyas Yoga. Have you ever thought that where is the real happiness of life, in sacrifice or in enjoyment? We are told about two extreme paths since childhood. On one side, there are those people who say that if you want peace in life, then renounce everything, leave the world, and become a sannyasi. On the other side, there are those people who say that the real joy of life is in enjoyment, in success, in material things, but the real question is whether sacrifice means only staying away from enjoyment, or is real sannyas something else? Many of us think that sacrifice means leaving your home, family, money, property, relationships, everything, but is it really sacrifice? If desires remain in the mind, can true sannyas come by leaving external things? Think about it. If a person goes to the forest, but his mind is still stuck in the pleasures of the world, will he really be called a sannyasi? And on the other hand, if a person is completely calm from within, even while living in the world with his family and society, will he not be called a sannyasi? Krishna says that true renunciation is not in renunciation, but in vision. Sannyas does not mean that you run away from your duties, but understanding that whatever you are doing is just a medium, a responsibility, but your real identity is far beyond this. When you do work with this understanding, that work also becomes sannyas. Have you ever felt that when you hold on to something, that thing becomes a burden for you, but when you let it go, a different kind of peace is felt? This is the real sannyas. To be free from within is not an external action, but an internal state. There is often this illusion in our life that the thing which is giving us happiness is also becoming the cause of our sorrow. We make something a part of our life and become completely dependent on it. And when that thing is snatched away, we are shattered. But if we understand from the beginning that this world is temporary and everything is going to change, then will we be so obsessed with anything? If you have ever noticed, when we take the decision to leave something, we get peace. But when something is forcibly snatched from us, we feel pain. This is the difference between sannyas and renunciation out of compulsion. Sannyas happens when we ourselves understand that nothing is permanent in this world, and that is why we are not emotionally attached to anything. But when we have to leave something because we do not have any other option, then that renunciation becomes painful. Have you ever seen someone who works hard all his life, earns money, makes a name, but still feels empty from inside? And on the other hand, there are some people who live a very simple life, but still remain completely satisfied from within. This is the difference of sannyas. Sannyas does not mean running away from the world, but detaching from it even while living in it. Krishna explains to us that the aim of both sannyas and karma yoga is the same: inner peace. The person who does his work like a worship without any attachment is also a sannyasi, and the person who keeps desires in his mind even after leaving everything is not a real sannyasi. Real renunciation is of the mind and not of external things. If we look at our life as a game where we have just come to give our best performance, then will we worry so much about winning and losing? When a player enters the field, if he lives only in the fear of losing, will he be able to give his best? But if he plays with all his heart, knowing that winning and losing does not matter, but playing itself is the real joy, then he can reach his highest potential. This is the real feeling of sannyas. Keep doing your work, but without getting attached to it. Think, if we live our life on this principle, then we will get so much peace. We will do every work with full heart, but will not keep any kind of expectation from it. Whatever responsibilities have been given to us, we will fulfill them with full sincerity, but this fear. Without worrying about what we will get in return, this is real freedom. This is real sannyas. Our problem is that we do not want to give up things. We are in relationships, but there is always a fear that this relationship may break. We do jobs, but there is always a worry that promotion may be stopped. We do business, but there is always a fear that there may be a loss. But if we learn to stay detached from all this, will we be so stressed? Krishna does not tell us not to have any ambition, not to want any success. He just explains that if you hold on to success, it will become a burden for you. but if you look at it as just a journey, you will be able to remain calm in every situation. This is real sannyas. Now the question is, can we also apply this philosophy in our life? Can we also do our work with complete sincerity, but without any attachment? Can we understand that nothing is permanent in life, and hence being attached to anything will only be the cause of our sorrow? If yes, then we have really understood Sannyas Yoga. This is what Krishna taught to Arjuna. True renunciation is not in running away, but in acceptance. When we completely accept our deeds, our responsibilities, our circumstances, but do not get emotionally attached to them, then we get real peace. Now it is up to you whether you can also reach this understanding. Can you also get free from this confusion between renunciation and enjoyment and move towards real peace? This knowledge of Krishna was not just for Arjuna, it is equally important for us too. If we understand this, our entire life can change. Now the choice is yours to run away from the world or to remain free from it while living in it.